and ladies. I just got one question for you. There was not one media person at practice this morning, and I know I get beat up about how much access you all have, but, I have to come to practice. There was 4 periods that you could have watched at practice today. We're sort of questioning your commitment to, the team by not being at practice this morning. So, but we'll let it go this time. Usually the people who miss practice have to run after practice. You usually get in Cochran's little deal, all right, but we're not willing to go there yet. So, but I don't know. But anyway, it was good to get in pads yesterday for the first time. I thought the first 5 days that we do of practice is really a lot of installation. And I think we probably sort of overload, especially with some of the young players. But that's sort of the Gestalt theory of learning, whole part whole. Throw it all at them, see what sticks, pick it up, throw it up against the wall again, see what sticks again. And by doing that multiple times, I think you get more learning that takes place and occurs. Today we went back, because this was the 6th practice, and actually went back to day 1 with an emphasis on the things that we put in on day 1 and really day 2, so that the players could relearn it sort of again. And that's kind of how we've always, done it. Today is the first 2 a day. We continue to do a really pretty good job as a team of managing the circumstances that we're in. I'm talking about basically the heat, which is, pretty challenging right now, but the players have done a good job of taking care of themselves, rehydrating, resting, and we've been having, pretty good practices. Guys been finishing practices, guys been pushing through it. I think they're showing a little mental toughness and maturity, in being able to do that. The big thing that I think for the young players is awareness is kind of a key word. Sometimes they're not really aware of the things that they need to do to improve as players. I think they have to be aware that what coaches are telling them, what people are telling them, what we're trying to teach them is not something for them to feel like they're getting criticized about, but something that we're trying to help them, to teach them, to inspire them to be aware of what they need to do to improve, and they have to change how they think to be able to do that. And I think that's important for everybody on our team, to be able to do that, so we can really, make improvement. Mark's been back out there for the last 2 days, and every player, regardless of how he comes into camp and enters camp, has to go through the 5-day acclimation. All right, where they can practice 1 a day, 2 times in shorts, 2 times in shells, 2 times in, then 1 time in pads before they can actually go, 2 a day. So that's what we have to manage with Mark, and that's what we will manage with him. And he's got a lot of experience. He's practiced hard. He's in good shape. I don't think any of this is having anything to do with, his development as a player. So, but really no other comments based on practice questions.
Coach, can you just talk about the progression of Robert Lester the last couple of years and how he's faring in a fairly significant role?
Well, there's a lot of competition out there right now on our team in the secondary. We have a lot of young players that all have some talent and ability. Robert Lester is one of those guys that played some on special teams, played a little bit, last year in a backup role. He has made a significant amount of improvement, but at the same time, there's a lot of competition out there. We have some young guys that are doing a really good job, and we don't have a depth chart right now, so we're looking at a lot of guys. And in the secondary, it's one of the places where there's a lot of opportunity. We're going to have, 2 new starting corners, a new starting safety, a new starting star. Probably when we play 6 defensive backs, we'll have a new starting dime guy. So there's a lot of competition. Robert has done a really good job. He's developed nicely. He's got a lot more confidence in what he's doing right now, and We're hopeful that he can continue to improve and play winning football for us.
And also, we've noticed Blake Sims has kind of moved around a little bit the first few days. Is that just kind of trial and error to see where he fits best?
Well, I think that a couple things. One of the reasons that we wanted to bring, we only have 3 quarterbacks on scholarship. Blake played quarterback. I think Blake's one of those guys that's very open to playing something besides quarterback. Since he wasn't here in the summer, he didn't really have the opportunity to learn and grow as a quarterback. But as a guy that can play quarterback on scout team, as a guy who could run wildcat, for the defense and the quarterback runs, he's a talented guy that has natural running skills. When we talk to him in recruiting, we talk to him about maybe being a quarterback, maybe being a running back, maybe being a receiver, maybe even being a safety. And for the first day, he played safety, and he probably could play safety someday. All right, so right now what we're trying to do is develop him as a sort of a quasi-quarterback running back. And, may use him at receiver at some point in time, but until we sort of go through the process of evaluating him at this particular position, that's all we're really concerned about right now.
Can you talk about DJ Fluker's progress? Where has he improved the most, and where does he still have the most room for improvement?
Well, I think that DJ has made a phenomenal improvement. I think he made a big improvement from his freshman year to spring practice. I think he made a big improvement over the summer. The first thing he did was he's improved his body tremendously in terms of his weight, his body fat, muscle mass, which has helped his conditioning and his ability to sustain. And I think the biggest thing he has to do, I think he knows what to do, I think is show more maturity in being able to focus on that and overcoming things that sort of are unfamiliar with him, that frustrate him. He can't get frustrated. He's got to play the next play, keep playing, being aggressive, and I think he'll be fine. But he's improved his pass protection because he's improved his range and his mobility. So, we're really pleased with the progress that he's made at right tackle.
Coach, could you comment on the development of your depth at running back among the guys that don't have game experience and the importance of blitz pickups for that third back role that Roy Upchurch filled last year?
Well, right now Eddie Lacy's getting a lot of reps, in Mark's absence, and, he's a guy that certainly has some ability to do it, but I think he has to continue to make progress in terms of knowing what to do, doing it on a consistent basis, and playing with the toughness that you need to play with to do those types of things, and to learn that there's a lot more to playing running back than carrying the ball. But he's doing a nice job. Corey Grant's doing a nice job as a freshman. I think Blake has potential to be a running back, and he's got very good hands, so maybe he could be a third down guy. So, there's Good has more experience. He tweaked his hamstring a little bit, so he's not 100% right now, so he's probably going to be sort of slowed down for a few days, but he's another guy that really has the knowledge and experience to do it. We just need for some of those guys to elevate their game a little bit and play with that kind of consistency.
Coach, a little bit related to running backs, on kickoff return, and again with replacing Javier, who are some of the guys? You mentioned some of the running backs.
Well, we got more guys right now than the law allows, back there that we're looking at. But, we feel really good about Trent, who's really a good kickoff return guy. We feel really good about Julio being sort of the off returner because he's a really good blocker, which is what he played all last year. But then, we have Mays, we have Hanks, we have Mark Ingram who can do it. And then we've got a lot of young guys, whether it's DeAndre White, we're looking at Keywan Malone doing it. We got a lot of skill guys. D. Milner has a chance to do it. I mean, there's a lot of guys that we're looking at. But, we're seeing who can catch the ball, who has a feel for natural running stinks. And it's really the same thing on punt return. Julio is very good at punt return, different style, but Corey Grant's been pretty good at that. We got several other guys that are working at that all the time as well. But you know, we're happy with the first guys. We are still looking to develop depth.
Two more guys I'd like to get your opinion on and their progress. Brandon Lewis and Will Lowry, please.
You know, Brandon Lewis, I think, has made a lot of improvement from the spring. I think he has a little better understanding of what we want. He's gained a little weight. He's changed his body a little bit. He's gotten a little stronger. He's, I think, having a little bit more success as a player. He has pretty good athleticism. I think he probably needs to get bigger and stronger, but I do think he may be a guy that can add depth to our defensive line, you know, this year. Will Lowry is a very competitive guy who did a really good job in the spring of taking advantage of opportunity. He's been here for a couple of years. He understands what's going on. He's quick, he's tough, and he's probably going to help us on special teams and probably in some role in the secondary.
Coach, not to follow camp so much, but the overall play of Mark Barron at safety, if you could comment on how he's developed since he's been here.
Well, you know, Mark played extremely well for us last year. You know, Mark has really become a leader in the secondary. He's very knowledgeable about what we do, has good understanding, has done a good job of helping the other players develop. And, you know, Mark has worked hard on getting better at the things that he needs to improve on, that whole awareness of what you need to do to improve. He's worked hard on that. He's changed the way he thinks about practice. He's practiced better. He's got better practice habits. He's sort of embraced the role of being a leader and affecting other people. So he is a real key, I think, for us to continue to develop in the secondary, not only because he's a good player, but because of his knowledge and experience, but also because of how he affects the other players back there. All right, thank you.
Thank you.